Oh my God, it's the Married with Channels podcast. Everybody's saying, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm Moose.
I'm Jodie.
We're married and we talk TV shows and movies, mostly TV shows, hence the channels part of the name. A couple shows to get into this week. We begin with Barry Season 3. The whole season's done.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a show that I thought keeps getting better and better.
Sure.
And I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is it seems like every episode for this season was written or directed or both by Bill Hader, the star.
Oh, interesting.
Who plays Barry.
Fun
It
fact.
seemed like it's either him or Alec Berg, which is, I believe, his partner.
Sure.
But Barry Season 3 was very, very good. Very balanced, very good movement. You know, every episode you're looking forward to. All the characters are so rich and they all seem to have like a purpose and they all seem to be their own self-contained story, shall we say? But then they also definitely lend themselves to the main story, which is Barry. So what'd you think?
I like that nothing was predictable either. There wasn't a whole lot that I was like, oh yeah, I saw that coming a mile away, you know?
Yeah.
So it was good. Yeah, there's some peripheral characters coming into play too, like Mr. Cousineau's girlfriend, Janice.
Janice, yeah.
Her father.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting character. I'm like, who the heck is this guy?
I know.
So,
That's interesting guy too, right?
yeah.
Like he's a super great interrogator for the military back in the day.
Is that what it was? They said his background?
Yeah.
Okay, I missed that. Sorry.
He either mentioned it or somebody, I think he mentioned it. Maybe he was talking to Cousineau when they first encountered each other, just how he had a couple anecdotes about, you know, people crying.
Sure.
He'd make them cry eventually in interrogations. So,
yeah.
But yeah, interesting guy.
Yeah.
The question though is like, well, let's play a clip from the season finale. This is where Barry is, he's burying a body. I forget which one. And the FBI guy who he served with, he saved this FBI guy's life back in Afghanistan or something.
Yes.
And he eventually finds out that Barry is the one who's responsible for this shit.
And who killed their friend as well.
And killed their friend as well. And he confronts him, and it doesn't go the way you think it's going to go.
I got a daughter. Her name is Elsie. She's 8 years old. She wouldn't be here if you hadn't saved my life.
Barry's
I
crying.
know evil, Barry. And you're not evil. But this has to stop. All of it's got to stop. You hear me? Just starting now.
Yeah, so he doesn't arrest him. He doesn't shoot him. He just says, you're not evil, but you need to stop.
Yeah.
And that's not how I thought that was going to go. I thought he was going to arrest him.
Same.
Maybe even kill him. But he knows that Barry, like it's a great show because Barry's an interesting character. Like, just as the guy said, and I've drawn a blank on his name, but he's not an evil guy. He's not a bad guy. He just fumbling and non-directional in life after the military, didn't know what to do with himself, stumbled into, you know, hitman.
Yeah, contract hit work. Yeah.
So, and then he found like a passion with acting and couldn't get out of the life that he was in.
He's carrying around a big secret, and a lot of the bad stuff that he has to do, you know, involves keeping that big secret. It's not like he wants to, but he kind of has to, you know.
Agreed. No, he sorry, what?
No, that's it.
No, and so the question is going to be now, like, can Barry redeem himself? And I think that's where it's going to go.
I think he was trying to, you know, spoilers here, but Sally wanted to take him up on his services to threaten her former assistant who stole her show, and and kind of put a little fear into her. But he was like, no, that's a bad path. I can't keep doing that, kind of starting to kind of try and redeem himself, I think.
Yeah. And it was interesting. The father of essentially the first guy he killed in the show, not counting the guy he killed at the very beginning of season 1, episode 1, but like the main kid he was contracted to kill from the acting class, his father, it was a little coincidence that he stumbling out of that, being poisoned by Chris's widow.
Yeah.
He stumbled out into the back alley there, and the kid's dad, the doctor, happens to be waiting for him and grabs him and throws him in the back.
See, I thought maybe that he was in on that poisoning. I thought maybe they teamed up to make that happen.
I don't think so. I don't.
Because she just like panicked and left. And like, what? You're going to leave a dead guy in your house? Like.
But why would she call? She doesn't know the doctor. Like, unless Fuchs connected them. I was going to
say maybe Fuchs put them all together.
But I don't think so. They never made that indication, But
he's going around and telling people.
Yeah, families of victims that Barry killed.
Yeah, and so, if that doctor's casing him and following him around, he's going to maybe start to put things together. I don't know.
Well, even maybe that's the explanation there. It's as simple as he was casing, he was following Barry and followed him into this house, and, 2 hours later he stumbles out.
Yeah.
Kind of disoriented from the poisoning.
Yep.
But on that note, I thought it was, sometimes the show gets a little surreal, which is kind of cool. Like that scene where he's stumbling out of the house, he comes up to he's in like the street, but the street is kind of half street, half shore, rocky cliff line.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, does that neighborhood end at a beach?
Oh, you thought it was real?
It looks so real. And usually I pick that stuff out. I can sniff out the CGI or the effects, but I was literally like, what's going on here?
Well, they did a good job.
They did a good job. Yeah. And
visually.
And it all made sense because that, we had that kind of dream sequence where he's on the beach with all his victims. And they're waiting for, I guess, the okay to go to heaven or wherever they're going. But I'd be curious to see season 4 where they go with Barry, especially considering he walked in on I'll just play the clip where Cousineau calls him frantic. He's got a gun. He's at Jim Moss's house. I don't know if Cousineau was threatening to kill himself or he was going to go try and kill Jim Moss. But Barry shows up and he's all like, what the fuck are you doing? You can't be doing here. Get out of here.
Just let's get in the car and go.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here.
No, please. You can't go. No. Listen to me, Barry. Please don't go in there.
No, fuck out.
Don't go in there.
Get out of here. Get out of here.
No, don't go in there. Don't go in there.
Don't go in there. So Barry grabs the gun and walks in. Jim Moss is there by himself. He immediately puts the gun up. And as soon as he puts the gun up,
freeze! Drop the fucking gun!
A SWAT team descends on him, cuffs him, takes him away, and that's the end of our season.
It was a setup.
It was a setup. Yeah, Cousineau, obviously Jim Moss.
Yeah.
Janice's dad got to him, Cousineau, and convinced him to lead him over to the house, and they set a trap.
Yep.
Now, I think I mentioned this to you. I don't want to nitpick, but I don't think they would wait for him to put a gun up to somebody's head.
Sure.
The fact that he's in the house he's not supposed to be in, that's breaking and entering.
Sure.
And he's got a weapon in his hand.
Yep.
I don't think there's... I don't think the police would wait until there's the potential for him to shoot the guy, because he could have put it up and shot him right away, and that's bad policing.
But it makes more suspense for the scene, so it's probably some liberty taken there.
Sure. So Barry's in handcuffs. He's off to jail. But I was reading somewhere like there's probably no evidence linking Barry to any murders, right?
I don't think so.
They're going by what what Fuchs told the police.
Yeah.
That's all they have to go by. That's That's coincidental, or not coincidental, circumstance.
Sure.
Circumstantial.
Hearsay. That's hearsay.
Yeah, his word. Yeah, his word against his word. Whatever.
Yeah, sure.
It's not rock solid evidence. So, I think the feeling is, oh no, Barry's going to prison. He's busted, and it's over. But I don't think they have anything on him other than he's broken and entered, and he raised a gun towards Jim Moss.
How is the dead motorcycle gang going to play out there? You think because he's trying to take the fall instead of Sally?
Oh, but yeah, and that's who he was trying to bury when the FBI guy.
Oh, so maybe nobody would even know, or
that'd be my guess. Nobody would know.
Yeah,
we don't.
I think Sally's going to crack though.
Well, she went off to Joplin, Missouri.
Yeah.
She's, for all intents and purposes, kind of done with everything.
I don't know.
I mean, they'd obviously be able to reach out to her if they need to question her.
I don't know.
But yeah, I don't know either. I just think, I don't think there's a lot of rock solid evidence to link Barry to any of these murders. That's my guess, being as he's a professional hitman, he knows how to protect himself.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
We will find out. Hopefully it's not like 3 years again, because it was a while since the last season, right?
Oh, yeah.
It was at least pre-COVID.
Sure.
So yeah, Barry season 3. I think that show gets better every season.
Yeah.
And hopefully, my only problem with it is I wish it was longer. I wish each episode was an hour. Like a half hour just doesn't seem like enough.
But I think they do a lot with that half hour.
They do, but I guess I just want more.
I know.
It just seems like a show that would be served better by an hour each episode.
You're just mad because you can't binge it, right? You gotta wait.
Maybe.
Yeah,
maybe that's it.
Yep.
Okay. So Barry season 3, go check it out if you haven't. It's on HBO Max.
Yep.
That's the wrong button. And on to FX on Hulu, which I'm still confused. Like, they always advertise these shows FX on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is it on FX and then it plays on Hulu later, or is it exclusive to FX on Hulu? What you know?
I bet it's the first one.
Me confused.
Yeah, I don't know.
So anyway, the show's The Old Man.
Yes.
Jeff Bridges doing some TV work. Good for him.
Yeah.
Just in a nutshell, he is a retired CIA type, ghost operative, whatever feller. And somebody's coming after him, and he kills a guy in the middle of the night. He's got these 2 Rottweilers that are just the most well-trained dogs you've ever seen.
Oh, they're so cool.
I know, right? It makes you want a Rottweiler.
They're good dogs.
I hear they're good dogs.
Yeah.
I hear things.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's kind of a cat and mouse game with FBI honcho played by John Lithgow.
Yes.
Harper's his name.
Yep.
And we've seen the first episode and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's kind of a deliberate, slow-moving show. And that's not to knock it. It's not like Jason Bourne, bang, 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 bang,
Sure.
And on that note, my issue with the Bourne movies and a lot of people's was the action scenes were hard to watch. You couldn't tell what the fuck was going on.
Okay.
But these are very they give you everything that's going on with the fights.
Sure.
And the action scenes. There's no mistaking who's doing what to whom.
Sure.
But Jeff Bridges is great, of course. He's Jeff Bridges.
I have a little issue with the fight scenes, and that is that, we're shown this picture of this old man who can, barely move. He's getting pretty slow, feeble, kind of showing some definite physical decline, maybe a little cognitive decline, but he stays on top of that because of his wife's ailment. But
right.
I don't know, the fight scenes then, it's like, what? He's 70-some years old. He wouldn't be doing that. Like, they would have broken him like a twig, some of his bones, you know?
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think the answer to that would be that's 50, 40 years of muscle memory working there.
Maybe.
With adrenaline.
Maybe.
It's like a retired football player, looks feeble as fuck, walking around with his janky knees, but, if he lined up and you told him to go run a button hook pattern, he could run a pattern halfway decent. Now it's not going to be NFL ready, but
Yeah, but see, the thing that is that he's up against young NFL ready
yeah,
contenders. And so it just didn't match for me. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like a newly younger trained version of himself. Like, no, that person would have snapped him like a twig.
yeah, no, and I know what you're saying. And I was thinking while we were watching it is like, I think the smart thing they did with the show is his handicap, to make up for the handicap, are his dogs.
Sure.
Like they are kind of his muscle
Sure.
that he doesn't really have much of anymore.
Yep. I like that too. Yeah, that's a good.
So that's what I was thinking. But then there was like that scene where he was fighting the guy in the truck,
Yeah.
you know, and like, you know, so Jeff Bridges plowed into the guy's partner, effectively killing him. He fights the guy.
Yeah.
This is out in the woods or whatever.
Yes.
And I was waiting for him to call the dogs, but that didn't happen at all. Like until he was actually cuffed and thrown into the car
Yeah.
by the agent. And,
Yeah.
and then the dogs came soon before that.
Huh.
So that didn't really my logic on that didn't really work there.
Well, the dogs had to catch up to them. Remember, they took off
No, before
and
that.
the dogs were running.
No, before that.
Oh, okay.
Before the agent got the cuffs on him, he made the call to the dogs.
Mm.
And the dogs started running towards them. And then as soon as he got Jeff Bridges in the vehicle, the dogs pounced on the vehicle. It was too late. Dogs couldn't help. And then they drove off.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
So to me, it's like, well, if they really wanted to make the dogs kind of his muscle,
Yeah.
you know, while he's fighting the guy and realizing this isn't going super easy,
Sure.
you know, call the dogs.
They also kind of addressed it in the writing where he was kind of leaving his daughter a voicemail, and he's like, I need to go and heal. And that's kind of why he kind
Yeah.
of goes and lays low, and, you know, you can see him with all of his battle wounds and bruises, and how he once again kind of transforms into this feeble old man that just kind of collapses into bed
Yeah.
because he needs to heal up his body
Yeah.
before he can fight again.
But he's, like I said, being chased by the FBI agent played by John Lithgow, Harper. And here's their first interaction on the show. He calls him to, like, effectively, he wants to help him
Yes.
because he doesn't want anything to do with this shit.
Yeah, they're all getting older. They like their cushy, protected life, and
Yeah.
they both want out
So
of the mud.
Here's that conversation.
I'm watching about a half a dozen high-end contract operators fail at blending into Caledonia County Airfield, loitering around their chartered jet. Their op is not to kill you, it's to retrieve you and put you on that plane. No one will tell me where it's headed or why, but as I sit here, imagining nightmare scenarios, I'm aware that with a full tank of gas, that plane can be in Kabul tomorrow afternoon without touching the ground. The nightmare scenario is that Faraz Hamzad wants to see you again. And he convinced someone in the U.S. government to make that happen.
Why are you telling me this? Why are you warning me?
Because the scenario is a nightmare for you, but it's pretty shitty for me, too. This story comes back to life, and I'm going to have to answer for some things that were dead and buried in the ground yesterday. Right now, I'm willing to aid and abet your escape to prevent that.
All right. So, yeah, he's trying to get him out of there to get him. He just wants to be over.
He wants to save his own skin a little bit. You know?
And it's interesting. They're both they have that. In the second episode, we get a flashback. They worked together.
Yeah.
Back in the days, the old CIA days.
Yeah, he helped him.
Yeah, get some guns or something for this Farad Hazam,
Sure.
who apparently now is a bad guy. But they both have that kind of commonality in that they've both suffered tragedies.
Yes.
John Lithgow's character's son and daughter-in-law died in some accident.
Yeah.
So and that was apparently weeks old. So that's still fresh.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges' wife died about 5 years ago.
Sure.
So they have that in common. So, and they know each other. So it's interesting. It's not like, well, I'm the bad guy who's hunting you and I'm going to get you, Jeff
Sure.
Bridges or Dan Chase.
Sure.
There's more nuance there. There's more like humanity involved, humanity.
Sure. Yeah, words hard.
WordsareHard.com. And I like that Jeff Bridges is not doing the Moose Mouth type of thing like this he's done over the last 4 movies.
Sure.
He's just kind of talking like Jeff Bridges.
Yeah,
which
that's
is nice.
Yeah, that is nice.
But The Old Man.
Yeah.
I like it. It's a slow burn. It's interesting. It's not boring.
Yep.
And it's got a little action.
Yeah.
And according to, as we see in episode 2, probably a little kissy face.
Oh.
Amy Brennan. Yeah, so you like The Old Man?
Yeah, I have a hunch about her, though. I think she's a bad guy.
You think there's more there?
I do. She's, I don't know.
I mean, that'd be smart to play the whole like, oh, no dogs, you got to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
If she has intel on him and knows his, how he is,
Yeah.
she would know that he would not just say, okay, I'll leave, bye.
Sure.
So that'd be interesting.
Yeah. I think there's something else there.
And then she'll reveal herself to him, but then she'll be like, but I actually fell in love with you.
I don't know. We'll see.
We shall see on The Old Man, which is not a biography about me.
Or she beats the crap out of him.
Or she, old lady, beats the crap out of him. So that's going to do it for us. Yeah?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Let's wrap this up. The Murder Channels podcast. Thank you, Jeff Bridges.
Yes.
Make sure you subscribe to the show. Give us a 5-star rating on your podcast provider if you could, please. And
Share, tell your friends.
absolutely. Until next time, I'm Moose.
And I'm Jodie.
We'll see you.
Bye.